Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence. Thank you. As always, our meetings are being recorded. I'd like to start a practice of announcing the meetings that the commissioners had since the last public meeting. Based on my interpretation of the Sunshine Law, I believe we should be doing that. The only two meetings that a majority of the board were at where any real discussion was had was a records retention meeting and a fiscal meeting related to the budget, both on the 10th. Everything else, every time that we were together, other than that, would have been for more public type meetings, such as the Northwest Commission or the Northwest Commissioners meeting the other day. All right, with that, I'd like to turn over to Lori Dunlap for a public hearing related to CDBG.
Thank you very much. Our going public is here. I'm here to let the public know, and that's you two ladies, that the county will be receiving CDBG funds, which are Community Development Block Funds, in the amount of $225,057 for fiscal year 17. Many things can be done with these projects as long as they either benefit a low and moderate income population, address blight, or remedy an urgent threat to public safety, such as something's falling down, a bridge washed out, etc. Disaster kind of things. I have a small, somewhat list, just to review, so it'll be in the minutes. Purchase and sale of properties, demolition of blighted properties. These are some examples of what you can do for money. Establish parks, build schools, build libraries, senior centers, water and sewer lines, sewer replacement, sidewalks, sewer replace, street reconstruction, services that would benefit a low-mod population or elderly people, activities that create jobs, planning projects such as mapping and sewage, limited to 15% of our allocation. So it's fairly broad as long as it would benefit lower income individuals, and we can do it. The state looks at if the project's fundable, so if it's going to benefit who it's supposed to benefit, the cost, and how many people it's going to benefit, so they like to get a good bang for our buck. I have sent out letters to all the municipalities and local nonprofit agencies asking them if they had any project proposals for this year. And I've compiled them and I'll present them to the commissioners, and they'll decide. We'll have a second public meeting to discuss those projects. Does anyone have any comments on past CDBG funds?
Has it been similar in amount?
Fairly steady for the past few years. It kind of goes down a little bit and it goes up. It's pretty close to what we had last year.
Okay.
Any others?
Laura, do you request an amount? Or you
No,
just,
we're assigning an amount.
You're assigning
So as a
okay.
class county, we set amount.
Okay.
What was it spent on last year? Excellent question. Last year, I have not even gotten our contract yet, but it will be spent on, we're going to do some housing rehab in Youngsville Borough for eligible homeowners, and we're going to replace the water line in Sheffield on 1st and Hall Streets. So we've done streets in Clarendon, we've recently done streets, we did a road down in Elgin Township in Grand Valley, did another water line in Sheffield Township. How we qualify, say, for a street or something that's getting work done for the sewage, I send a letter to everybody who the project would benefit. And they have to tell me if their income is above or below a certain number, so those specifics, and send it back. And then 51% of those benefiting from the project have to be under a certain income. So it's a little tricky to do, you know, because it's fairly generous guidelines. It's not dirt poor. So sometimes it's a little tricky to find an area.
Dirt poor, is that a technical term?
Yeah, under the HUD regulation, section 8 figures. Good answer. And I did get lots of project proposals. I got several streets that Pine Grove Township wanted to repave the roads, and the residents just didn't qualify. So, but it's well appreciated money by all the municipalities who receive it. Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And after we conclude, may I beg to be excused?
Please.
Thank you.
Along that vein, I've moved public comment up from the end to closer to the beginning of the agenda, simply because I know sometimes our meetings can go long and we wanted to get everybody's comment before they had to leave. So at this time I would open up for any public comment, should any citizens present want to present anything to the commissioners.
I'm not public, but I am a commissioner, and I would like to add to your list of executive sessions.
Mm-hmm.
We did have an executive session following the work session on September 25th, and that was in regard to the three-way agreement with the Transit Authority, Experience Inc. in the county, and the payback situation.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I only looked back to the last meeting. I didn't look previous to that. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, with no public comment, going once, going twice. Okay. I'll move on to the consent agenda. So the idea of the consent agenda is that we'll just need one motion in order to approve anything that's not going to need discussion. Is there anything that anyone would want changed to the agenda? Hearing none, did everyone find the minutes to be ready for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 27th meeting.
Okay.
Well,
just
as a point of order, the idea with the consent agenda is to just go through the three items and then approve them all.
Okay,
Right.
sure.
Fiscal report?
The balance in the general fund is $4,838,396. Erie Bank General Fund, $129,915 for a total of $4,968,311. Payments coming out of the general fund this week would be the payroll account for $266,627, health insurance, the weekly invoice for $44,145, leaving a projected balance of $527,624. And as the commissioners all saw, we had another deposit after that of over $1.7 million. That this was done yesterday, so before that came in, it was hard to project when that would arrive, but it is a little bit higher now. No additional draws were taken from the tax anticipation note, and the commissioners also approved with the balance in the general fund to pay off the tax anticipation note. So a check will be issued today, and today or tomorrow, and the treasurer will take it down to Erie Bank to satisfy that note. We'll still have one interest payment coming that we'll have to make, and $100 fee to close the note. But beyond that, that should be the end of the cost for the tax anticipation note for the year. And also, because of the funds that came into the general fund account, there was an additional $400,000 that was loaned to the general fund from our Erie Bank account, which will also be replaced hopefully this week or early next week.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Morrison, does your motion to approve the agenda minutes and fiscal report still stand?
Real quick, that $1.7 million was received today, not deposited.
Okay.
It'll be deposited tomorrow, but we did.
Receive it, yes.
Okay.
And I do, on my projection for the taxes coming in, I'm expecting another $600,000 from the municipalities that haven't come in yet.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, I don't believe I need to amend my motion, but
No.
I will make a motion to accept the minutes as read and the treasurer's report as reported.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
The motion is to approve the agenda minutes and fiscal report as stated. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Approved. There's no old business. Moving on to new business. We have a request to appoint and reappoint members to the Warren County Library Association Board. Commissioner Eggleston, you're the representative at that.
I'd make a motion to accept Thomas Skelton and Barbara Crowley as, to a 4-year term as library board members for the Library Association.
It says here 3 years
Yeah, it
for
does.
Barbara
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, sorry.
and
4 years.
Tom.
Do you accept a friendly amendment?
Yes, as stated.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Just to be clear then, the appointment for Mr. Skelton would be 3 years. The appointment for Ms. Crowley would be 3 years. Very good. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'd just like to say that I've served on the board for over a year with Mr. Skelton. He's done a very wonderful job, very dedicated to the library. Barb Crowley, as I know her through the library theater, and she's done a marvelous job there as a volunteer working with the theater, so I would expect her to be a very good and dedicated volunteer for the Library Association.
Further comment?
No.
All right. Go ahead and take the vote then. The motion is to appoint Mr. Skelton and Ms. Crowley to 3-year terms to the Warren Library Association Board. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Proclamation for Grief Awareness Month. Do either of you want to read this particularly?
You
Okay.
have the honor.
Whereas November is National Hospice and Palliative Care Month, therefore, Hospice of Warren County also acknowledges the importance of grief awareness. And whereas Hospice of Warren County acknowledges that 2 million deaths in the U.S. each year, which impacts approximately 20 million people, and whereas because grieving is a natural and normal response to death and other losses, all persons are urged to be sensitive and supportive of their families, neighbors, friends, and colleagues who are adjusting to a significant loss in their lives. And whereas time set aside for grief awareness with heighten our awareness of our human mortality and address our common need for mourning and healing, and will promote spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional health. And whereas Hospice of Warren County therefore encourages businesses, schools, faith communities, healthcare organizations, civic groups, and neighbors to join them in observing this special time of grief awareness of every person's right to grieve in the face of death and loss. And whereas the purpose of grief's awareness is to help the community realize that grief is not an event but a process. Too often in our society, it is believed that after the first few weeks, life continues on as before the death of a loved one. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Warren County, along with Hospice of Warren County, encourages everyone to join us in observing the month of November as Grief Awareness Month, in recognition of every person's right to grieve in the face of death and loss, adopted the 12th day of October, 2017 by the Warren County Commissioners. I hear a motion to approve the proclamation.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion or amendments?
Strike the word hour in the 4th paragraph. Between heightened and awareness.
Yes, thank you. All right, so now it'll read, time set aside for grief awareness will heighten awareness of our human mortality. Very good, thank you.
Oh, and the word with should be will.
That would be better, yes. Any other friendly amendments?
Don't see anything else.
Okay, did you catch that?
I don't have a copy in front of me.
No,
so-
okay.
Okay.
Mark it up.
Thank you.
All right, we did have a second, correct?
Yep.
Very good. Any further discussion, questions, comments from the public?
We just want to thank you for the proclamation and your willingness to present this to the public every year. It's helpful to us. We always try to have programs and events during the month of November that will be helpful to people to learn, and you know, they can be educational, but the memorial service, the first Sunday of November, is a special event that a lot of people come to year after year, even if they haven't had a loved one pass this year. And this year it'll be at the Interfaith Chapel at the hospital at 3 o'clock.
What's the date? I'm sorry, the date again?
November 5th, the first Sunday of November,
Okay.
is our annual memorial service.
And the time again?
3 o'clock,
3.
with a reception to follow.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say that I've had the unfortunate experience of hospice in Warren County and outside Warren County. And what the one outside Warren County helped me realize is the Warren County Hospice is a tremendous organization that I say they set the high water mark, they set the standard. And that was before they had a facility on Quaker Hill Road. They do a tremendous job, and we are very fortunate to have them in Warren County.
Thank you, Treasurer Mutzgard. And ma'am, would you state your name for the record?
Bonnie with a V, Radecki, I'm the bereavement coordinator, and Fran Lito is with me. She's one of our grief counselors.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
And thank you for all you do for our community.
Hearing no further discussion, I would ask for a vote. All those in favor of approving the Grief Awareness Month proclamation, please state aye.
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 Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Next is Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the County of Warren is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Warren County, and whereas U.S. fire departments responded to 352,000 home fires in 2016, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and whereas U.S. house fires resulting in 2,735 civilian deaths in 2016, and whereas newer homes are built with lightweight materials that burn faster than older homes' construction, and whereas many of today's products and furnishings produce toxic gases and smoke when burned, making it impossible to see and breathe within moments. And whereas these conditions contribute to a much smaller window of time for people to escape a home fire safely, with people having as little as 1 to 2 minutes to escape from the time the smoke alarm sounds. And whereas a home fire escape plan provides the skill set and know-how to quickly and safely escape a home fire situation, and whereas a home fire escape plan includes 2 exits from every room in the home, a path to the outside from each exit, smoke alarms in all required locations, and a meeting place outside where everyone in the home will meet upon exiting. And whereas home fire escape plans should be developed by all members of the household, and whereas practicing a home fire plan, escape plan twice a year ensures that everyone in the household knows what to do in a real fire situation, and whereas Warren County's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education, and whereas Warren County residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes, and whereas the 2017 Fire Prevention Week theme, Every Second Counts, Plan 2 Ways Out, effectively serves to educate the public about the vital importance of developing a home fire escape plan with all members of the household and practicing it twice a year. Therefore, we, the Commissioners of Warren County, do hereby proclaim October 8th through the 14th of 2017 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the county. We urge all people of Warren County to develop a home fire escape plan with all members of the household and practice it twice a year, and to participate in many public safety activities and efforts of Warren County's fire and emergency services during Fire Prevention Week 2017, adopted the 12th day of October 2017 by the Warren County Commissioners. Do I hear a motion to approve this proclamation?
I'll make a motion to adopt this proclamation.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I would add just 2 quick things. First of all, I think it's important to know that we are moving in Warren County to a new computer-aided dispatch system, and it will allow us to keep home-specific information in it. And so that means if you have, for instance, a child with a disability, we could have that listed in the CAD system itself. So if we get a 911 call to go to that house, we'll be able to tell the first responders that are heading there that the child is in such and such a room, that they have such and such a disability, so that they're aware and able to help immediately. And I think that's a very valuable asset. It's as simple as calling the 911 center in order to make a note on your home or business or wherever. So we're going to do a more sustained campaign to get the word out about that come January. but start spreading the word now. And if you have any kind of a unique situation, maybe even, hospice I think is an obvious one that we would know about, but you can update information and let us know where things are, what kind of hazards are in the house, what kind of obstacles people might be meeting if they had to enter the building. So please contact the 911 center. The second thing is related to Fire Prevention Week. Many of the local fire departments, volunteer fire departments, are having open houses last week, this week, next week. So contact your, or keep an eye out for an open house. If you haven't had the opportunity to, first of all, go thank firefighters and emergency personnel for serving your community, then I would encourage you to do that. And second of all, if you're not familiar with the apparatus or want to know more about how you can help your local fire department, then look for that open house or contact them. Any further discussion? Any public comment? Very good. Then all those in favor of the Fire Prevention Week proclamation, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Lastly, we have an agreement with Quincy Tech. Unless anyone else, I'll go ahead and present about it then. Basically, the situation is that the coroner's office has software, or had software, called Ecident. It was basically a case management software system that had been implemented years ago, and we were simply paying a maintenance fee annually on it. Unfortunately, Ecident went out of business earlier this year, closed up shop, and won't even let us have access to our data as of, I believe, the end of June or July, maybe into August. But point being, there for a little stretch we did not have a case management system to enter anything except for death certificates for the coroner's office. Therefore, we approached the only other companies in the state of Pennsylvania that provide case management for coroner's offices, Quincy and Forensic Filer, and got quotes. Quincy came in as the cheaper alternative with a license fee of $1,500 a year. The solicitor did have a chance to review this, and I apologize for not getting this on the agenda on Monday. I decided that we really needed to get it on the agenda, and I hope you don't object, mainly because, again, the coroner is working without any software currently and doing things by hand and on paper. So I kind of viewed it as a bit of an emergency, and it was a slip up on my part, to be honest, because the solicitor had reviewed the agreement by Monday, and I just neglected to get it on the agenda and discuss it then. So with that, any questions on the presentation or the need for this? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with Quincy.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you very much. Any discussion on the software or the motion?
I'd just say that I'd like to thank Commissioner Kafferlin for taking the time to personally evaluate the software and to work with the coroner in order to come up with a solution that everyone felt comfortable with. As a very good thing.
I would like to add that our IT department, and specifically Bill Gallagher, has reviewed this agreement and made a few corrections that he saw fit, and that he too approves of this agreement with Quincy Tech.
Even more than that, I really can't take any credit for evaluating it. Bill did it all.
All right, well, there you go. I'll take back what I said and I give it to Bill.
All right, any further discussion? Any public comment? Very good. All those in favor of approving the Quincy Tech agreement, please state aye.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. Any comments from the commissioners? Very good. I'll open it one more time to the public should you have anything to comment or ask about. Very good. Hearing nothing more, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all.
Could we get a checklist of the commissioners?
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, okay.